Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to this episode. I am at the club. The boats launch in 2 days, and let me show you where we're at. Kay is just about ready to go in. I patched that hole that we talked about a couple weeks ago. I'm going to show you guys. With 4200, so here it is. So if you recall, I built this pad. I don't know how much you can see it, but there's a pad built all the way around it. Because there's a V to the hull here. So I built it up with chop strand mat, and then I sanded a flat spot in it. So this depth transducer actually mounts flat, and it touches all the way around on the pad I built. So, sealed it with 4200. I put some Interlux bottom coat on it. That's what you see. The white stuff here is bottom coat to seal the fiberglass that I had sanded. And then this white stuff here is 4200. So it's nice and sealed. It sat flat. And I think it's good. Right before we go in, I'll peel off the sticker. Actually, I think I'll do that right now. There we go. Could clean it up a bit, but looks good. So I will show you guys the inside now. Okay, let's see the inside. Hi, Callie.
Hi.
What are you doing?
Watching an ad.
Watching an ad? Okay. You watch ads on YouTube?
No, but it's not an ad on YouTube.
What's it an ad on?
From a game.
From a game, okay. So here is what we fixed from the inside. See how well you guys can see it. So that's the transducer. And I built up chop strand mat all through the valley. You see the valley here. I built up chop strand mat to the point where the top of the transducer can sit level, and I sanded it really good. So it actually sits level. And then you see how much 4200 I actually use. It's quite a bit, but it's all solid now. It's been sitting for like, I don't know, a week and a half or 2 weeks. So the only other thing to do is to run this cable to wherever I'm gonna mount the gauge. And I figured I could do that once it's in the water. That's not a problem. We had a cold snap here, so I haven't had the ability to get anything done because it's been too cold. So now that the boats are going in on Saturday, it's Thursday today. Once the boat's in, we're not allowed to use them. And that's per government mandate, etc., etc. So since it's going to be in the water and I'm not allowed to use it, I am allowed to work on it. So I'm just going to be here every day getting work done, which is actually not a bad thing. I have a lot of things I want to do, and if I'm not allowed to take the boat out of the slip, it forces me to a position where I'm just going to get stuff done, which is awesome. I'm not mad about it at all. All right, from there, the next thing we're going to do is take the steering apart, because that thing's good. Now we got to figure out the steering. So I'll show you guys the outside of the steering. Just a normal pedestal and wheel. Nothing too weird there. And I'll show you guys the underneath. The first thing I need to do is move the cushions, empty that locker, and climb inside. And I'm emptying the other side one just so I can leave it open and get some light down there. It's kind of overcast today, but that way I can get in this side, get underneath to the quadrant, bring the tools down, and the other side will just provide light. So I want to thank you guys for last episode. I asked for advice on the steering mechanism, and a lot of you guys gave me some really good advice. The thing I'm going with was from my friend Eldon, who said it's probably some sort of a stuffing box. I should take it apart and figure it out, and I agree with that. So that's the plan today. Take it apart, figure it out. Let's go. Okay guys, let's go into the locker. Ooh, okay. Oh, it's not my favorite place in the world. Okay, let's see if I can show you what we're dealing with here. So that's the steering quadrant. It's just junk everywhere. I was in here making a mess before, so I apologize for that. So the steering turns the cables, and the cables move the quadrant. So I don't know if you guys can see. I'm gonna find a way to mount the camera. Okay, so turn the quadrant, turns the rudder, turns the wheel. And if you can see that hose at the bottom, the top is spinning, the bottom is not. Oops. Okay. So how do we take it apart? This is the hose I'm talking about right here. The top spins with the quadrant. The bottom stays stationary with the hull. Which I would not think to be ideal for a rubber hose, right? Okay, so I think it just all needs to come apart so that I can understand how it works. And the quadrant is mounted to a bracket right here to the floor with that one bolt in the middle, and held by the cables obviously, and held by the stem. So if I take the 3 bolts apart on the stem and I take the 1 bolt apart on the bracket, I should be able to remove the quadrant. My concern is I don't like the idea of undoing the steering cables, losing the adjustment that they already have on them because they're right now. Anyway, that's where we're at. Let me know what you guys think about that scenario. Should it come apart? Should it stay together? I feel like, let the camera adjust to the light. So the rudder is underneath here. It's a skeg hung rudder down there. So there has to be some sort of a bushing down there. And then this pipe is the stem for the rudder. So that must go all the way through and connect to the rudder. It disconnects here, but that's just the quadrant. The top part's the quadrant, the bottom part's the stem. And that's just the quadrant. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm at a loss here. Do we rip it apart? Do we not rip it apart? I'm not sure. Let me know.